Welcome to another video of Vampire Academy Deep Dive. Now, this is the first deep dive on this channel. I would like to do more, but because of my secret project, I stopped doing this. But I had a whole bunch of notes. Okay, basically, lore, here we go. I had all of my notes for this project in multiple different like, I don't want to say formats, but like it was definitely separated, and I did not know what I was and was not going to use for this project or this deep dive, so I wrote down everything, right? And obviously that's not going to be helpful, and so I didn't really have kind of like a script or something to go off of for this deep dive for most of the chapters after I got to this one point. So I was like, hey guys, I need to like take a break, finish them, and then we can do it again, right? Now, here was the thing. That little break turned out to be when I started my secret project. So I did like I think 2 chapters. Like wrote them, like compiled the notes, and then went, okay, cool. I'm gonna work on this now. So I decided I want to take the day and I'm going to finish the notes. So I'm not like reading really anything new. This is literally me reading my own notes to make this video. That is all that it is. Because I will, like I said, I want to do more deep dives after I finish chapter 1 of my secret project. That's what it's called. But I want to like also have this done before the new year. So my goal, secret project, is done by the end of the year. This I wanted to get done by the end of the year as well. So I took the day, I wrote all the rest of my notes. Right? And then not only that, but I decided I am going to record. It's nice too. Can I get this out before midnight? Absolutely not, because it's gonna be a long video. And I have to edit it still. But before we get on to this, I'm going to quickly talk about a poll that I have on YouTube. It is not necessarily saying which one I'm going to do next, like which deep dive. It's more of a, this is what I'm thinking at the moment. I'm a movie reader, you should keep that in mind. What would your input be if you have a preference? So it's between Akator and Twilight. But we'll get into that in the later. We'll get into that later into the video, hopefully. But maybe I'll just make a own video about it. Maybe both. I don't know. We'll see what happens. This is gonna be from chapter 14 to chapter 24. So it's gonna be 10 chapters in this one video, and I feel like that is going to be so long. Okay. I posted a video about this that was almost 3 minutes long, and that was one chapter. So it is going to be fine, right? That being said, let's get into it. But actually, no. Let's get into the triggers for this video. There is going to be talks of grooming. We have a character here, if you didn't see their parts, that is grooming Rose. And we haven't necessarily seen it, but we will by the end of the book. So in this video, it will be mentioned. We're going to have mentions of self-harming and talks of mental health. I will say there is a message in this story of seeking help. It's not just like be alone with it. It is having someone who is brave come forward and help you, or how it is brave to seek mental health for that. So there will be mentions of that in this book or in this video. That is already one of the triggers in the playlist of it, but I just wanted to really reiterate that in case this is the video that you started with, which hi, you're starting like pretty far into it, but that's okay. We love that. Also, there is mention of animal death that will be brought up probably. Um, there is potentially going to be mention of um, sexual assault that has happened previously. None of these things I'm going to dwell that much on. Um, I'm going to mention it and then we're going to go past it, right? But I am still going to say, hey, that's going to be in this video. So if you cannot handle those kinds of topics, protect yourself. And maybe this is just not the video for you, and that's okay. But that is in here, okay? We also have, what was it? We have a key right here in case you also have not seen this video series, which if that's you, once again, hi. Okay, let's get into it actually for realsies this time. Okay, so we'll start it off. Rose. She admits that she's still spying on Lisa. She's still doing it. Um, Now Lisa cannot do mass compulsion. So she is singling people out. Um, and yeah, she's singling people out, and then that's how the compulsion is really helping, I guess, because then other people are talking to others, and like it's kind of like a remote type situation. Natalie calls out Lisa. Natalie calls out Lisa, and it's like a the people that were making fun of her and Rose are now suddenly her friends, and she's like, that's weird. She's like, that's weird. That's suspicious. What is happening? Um, because it's like me as friends are now your friends. What um So I mean that's interesting that we have Natalie being like, hi, hey. So that means people are paying attention to Lisa and it's like, hey, that's a little bit weird. Um which I'm like, why aren't you also compelling Natalie? I'm not I'm not a supporter in her doing this, but I'm like, if you're not trying to get caught, why is the people that are around you I don't know. I Because it is so suspicious. Like all of the people that either ignored her or made fun of her or made fun of her friend. Now you're bestie, and now former bestie is isolated and being bullied by them, right? So it's weird to say the least. Um, Rose is also worried that like it's going to become more noticed because we have Natalie, who's just like, this is weird. But mostly because we have Christian, who's like, hey, you're not being, I don't know, you're not being stealthy about it. It is obvious. Anyone can see that this is happening, right? And so she's like, hey, Lisa, can you like cool your jets a little bit because people can start to notice. Like, but I mean, Lisa's just like, I can't stop now. Um, so they kind of it doesn't really go anywhere. Um, so it's gonna be a Sunday. They're in church, right? And people start talking and making fun of Rose and talking about the rumor. Now, here's the thing of why that's important. Is Lisa basically compels them in front of everybody and compels them to ask for Rose's forgiveness. And they are compelled to apologize to her over and over again. And obviously she's like, stop, stop, stop. Stop. No, please don't do this anymore. Now Christian, he's looking troubled. Like, he's over here like, guys, people are going to notice. Because if you forgot, this is forbidden magic. She's not supposed to be doing this. Literally at all. Like, it doesn't even matter who she's doing it to. She's not supposed to be doing it, period. Right? Dimitri, Rosie, Dimitri, that's how you know I haven't done this in a while because I don't know where anyone is. Dimitri is over here like, he's not saying anything though. um, Now, Priest, this guy, I added Malloy to them because, I mean, like, it's not like a big shock that they are Malloy, so I just put him there. Um, so he starts talking, and he talks about St. Vladimir. Now, here's the thing. He says St. Vladimir was able to allegedly heal people and that he could make uh, flowers bloom. So it's like, could heal people and make flowers bloom. Kind of, you know. Oh, and he could also, something that he was said he could do was heal blind people, right? Um, yeah, that's kind of what the priest says, and it's kind of like in interesting, I guess. I don't know. Like, I feel like this is something that she should know at this point. Like, honestly, like, she's trying so hard to figure this stuff out, and I love that for her. It's also just like, I don't know, this guy has been talking about this guy, St. Vladimir, for so long. I feel like that's just something that you should know about him. Whether or not you believe that he could do it is another thing. But, I don't know. Story, plot, I don't know. Now, here's the other thing why I think that this should be something that she already knows is because Mason, um, from the books that he was able to get her, um, it talked about how Saint, it talked about how Saint Vladimir, um, could bring the dead back, right? And about the shadow kissed bond, right? It makes her think about that. And it's just like, you should know this. It should not be a revelation at this point. But you know what? She's a teenager. We're moving on. Okay, so she gets Rose really unfortunately gets harassed again. Now, Mason, best friend, one best friend, right? He is over here. He defends her, right? She's like, don't defend me. He's like, you're my friend. I'm going to be defending you. Like, what do you want? She says, you know, girl Rose, she's dealing with some internalized misogyny, right? She's like, I don't want to be treated like a girl. And Mason's like, you are one, though. Like, I understand she doesn't want to be perceived as weak, but I'm like, babes, gritty, the internalized misogyny is running rampant in you. Truly. Okay, so she apologizes and she thanks them. Now, here's the thing. Rose, right? She knows that Mason has a crush on her. And she's like, maybe I should, I don't know, like have a crush on him too. Like we are friends. Like maybe this is something that we should be doing. But the thing is, she's like, but I have a crush on Dimitri. Her, okay, technically, he's not her official teacher, but he is the adult teaching her offhand. He's her tutor. It's not the problem that it's her teacher. Because you know what? There would be ethical things if they were both adults. Like ethically, like how and like how unbalanced. But she's a child. She is a teenager. Like what are we doing here? So Mason says it's the honorable thing to do, and that's kind of why he did it, right? And she asks him to prove that it's the honorable thing to do, and to like help her. What it does a fable, right? Now, when I was talking about the book, I meant the book that they read together. I don't know, or like what he said to her. We're not talking about the books later to come. The Lord, right? So here is the fable. Give Christian a message, right? And say that she needs the books that is in the church attic about Saint Vladimir and for Lisa, and also that she is sorry. So that's the end of the chapter. Let's move on. Mason delivers on that message, right? Or he delivers that message. He does the fable, right? But like he can't help if Christian doesn't do what she asks. Here's the thing. Christian gave him the books. Christian gave him the books, and she's reading. Now here's the thing. She is grounded, so she has the ability to spend so much time reading. And here is the things that she categorizes the books in. So I was gonna spike notes it. So one, the first category is there are books written after Saint Vladimir died. We're gonna call those secondary sources. Yeah, secondary sources. So sorry if I'm wrong. Books written by other people when he was alive. And then journals written by Saint Vladimir. Parentheses, sort of. It's kind of confusing because she's finding it confusing. So primary sources, right? So we have secondary and primary sources, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure there's like technically a better way of describing all of that. So we're gonna go and we're gonna do the journals. Here's what happens. So it depicts Saint Vladimir. Well, not depicts. It talks about Saint Vladimir and how he healed a mother from sharp stomach pain. Oof, we hate to see it. But he believes that he is punished after using his abilities. Because like healing should not be like something easily done. Like he is that's what he believes, right? So he then mentions that he feels dizzy. His mental health is declining, but he has his friend named Anna, and he calls her Shadow-Kissed Anne, right? And he's like, good thing I'm my bestie, right? But Shadow-Kissed, interesting, right? It's coming up again. So many times, Shadow-Kissed, Shadow-Kissed, what is Shadow-Kissed? You will find out by the end of this video what Shadow-Kissed means. Okay, here's another source. Vlad can heal the sick, the injured, and plants. So going back to the priest, it matches everything. We found the priest's primary. We found the priest's source, which is he was able to heal blossoms. Fun. I love how it's like, yeah, he can heal, but don't forget that he can heal. So he can heal the planet, allegedly. That's my thought. If you can heal plants, can't you heal the planet? I don't know. Now, it also says the more he used his magic, the more he was irrationally angry or sad. It says that he was clearly battling from mental health issues. And his friend Anna was there to help him through it, right? So that's a lore that we get on Vlad. So what are we getting here? We're getting that he can heal, but when he uses his magic, it affects him negatively, mostly through mental health. But he has his friend Shadow-Kissed Anne, or Anna, right, to help him through it, right? So that is basically what we get there. Love to see that he has a supporting friend. Amazing. Now, Rose is sure that his mass following is from compulsion. Basically, from what she is reading of all these testimonies and all of that, she's like, this is compulsion. I've been watching my girlie, my friend, compel like an entire school, and how she is doing it is how he's doing it. But here's the thing. Saint Vladimir is compelling people at a massive scale. And something that Lisa is not able to do, at least right now. She is again a child, so it would make sense that maybe she does not have her full abilities, right? And again, he did this a lot. He did it a lot. She she is starting to do it a lot, but no one knows how much he would have allegedly done it. Now we're going to go into a flashback heel. It is between Miss Carp and our main character, Rose, right? And so Rose realizes here that she was compelled. So remember when Miss Carp was like, hey, you need to protect Lisa. That people will be coming after her. You need to protect her. If you don't remember that, it was revealed to you. Sorry. So you need to protect Lisa. And she realized that this was compulsion, right? And Miss Carp said something about Rose being shadow kissed to Lisa. Now, we're falling back. We have Vladimir having a shadow kissed Anne. Interesting, right? So we can definitely see the parallels between that we're supposed to see here. And it's going to get so much aggressively stronger, these parallels, especially between these three characters. You can see that I have spirit magic. What's that? Shh. um, There. So she's like, okay, I was only compelled to protect her, and she's thinking back that how it felt fuzzy and sounded reasonable, more reasonable than like it should have, basically. And then she, because it's like you need to keep her from doing magic. Why is doing magic bad for Lisa here? And then it's just like, okay, we're going to look at Saint Vladimir because it's strong connection to, right? Now she doesn't infer this. We're informing this right now. If we're looking at it, Saint Vladimir, when he used it, became more irritable, and his mental health declined, but he had Anna to help him through it, right? She uses magic. Her mental health declined very drastically. And it talked about how she can have basically mood swings, right? So we can definitely see a correlation here whenever they use magic. Now, why would Miss Carp know this? Does she just know a lot about Saint Vladimir? But also, she's compelling. But remember, like, all the one can compel. You shouldn't, right? So it's like, okay, so how does Miss Carp know that she can do whatever Saint Vladimir could do as well? We don't know at this point. I'm just inferring these things to be like this is what's showing up. So obviously these are supposed to be referencing each other. We're supposed to see Saint Vladimir and Lisa, but we don't know how we're supposed to see Miss Carp in this yet. So yeah, another little connection saying that Rose is bonded to Lisa. She does not say how she is bonded or how she knows, right? It will be explained later to come. A guard then in this flashback takes Miss Carp away. She tries to fight them off. It does not work. And Rose is told Miss Carp is going to get treatment, right? That she is going somewhere that is safe. Okay, that was 2 years ago. Okay, so let's do some inferring with this real quick, okay? So, we know he had mental health issues. She has some kind of issues that she needs to be safe, and she needs to be taken away involuntarily. And then we had Lisa. So, either this was a kidnapping or it didn't seem like it was hidden, so I don't think it was a kidnapping, but it was somewhere where she can be safe and get the treatment that she needs. Treatment implies to me that it is for seeking medical attention. So is that how? Is it that she knows somewhat, or is it that she knows too much and they're taking her away, that someone's taking her away? We don't know why. It's just at this moment, we just know she is seeking mental health help at this time and has been for allegedly 2 years at this point, right? Okay, let's get into it. Mason gets somehow to Rose's room. She's like, how did you get in here? And he's like, oh, Christian set a file, and I was able to come and get you because there was a party in Lisa's room. And Rose's like, I hope that Mason's not compelled. So they go to the party. Mason's like, why aren't you drinking? And Rose is just like, I don't drink when I'm on the job. It's not responsible. And then Nat tells Rose, now all of this is weird. Okay, pause once again. What's happening here? Nat is like, hey, I'm in this allegedly friend group, and this is weird. So you have two people at least being like, this is weird. One that's not in the friend group, one that is. Like, this is obviously, like, if she wasn't compelling them, I don't know. Okay, so, we're getting into more compulsion. There was a guy named Xandal. Now, in how this is portrayed to how I read it, he was not trying to be mean. Okay, I want to say that. He basically asks about the rumor. How I interpret it was that he was not trying to be mean here, it was more of a curiosity thing. Not to be like, did you actually do it? But specifically, not that one. Not that one. But the accusation that, she said on Rose. Now, Lisa said she did do it, but it was like she had to do it. There was no other option, right? So he is addressing that, and he's like, hey, I basically I'm going to paraphrase, obviously. I'm paraphrasing everything. But like, hey, so what did it feel like though? And apparently he has this weird, like that's how I was going to describe it. It's like this weird, like, wanting to know how the other person would feel when it's happening. And I mean, I can understand why that would be a concern for him because if you have to do it to survive, I can see how it could be like I don't want the other person to be in pain and I want to know what they're feeling because like they're enduring it for me. Now, that is not how he meant it. He meant it in how a teenage boy would probably see it. So, not appropriately, right? But he doesn't, again, I cannot see it as him being mean, especially when Lisa, she tries to shut it down, and he's just like, oh no, and he resists the compulsion to stop doing it. To stop. She says stop. She's trying to change it. He resists it. And the reason why is because, and how he's saying it, because again, he's fighting it. So I'm believing him when he is saying he's not trying to be mean here. Is he pushes it and he says that that they had to do it, but he wanted to know how it felt because he and someone uh, did stuff and she let him bite her. And she said she didn't feel anything. This tones the room and they're like, right. And so I can see how, in the sense of like, if you have to do it, you would want to know, right? And in this, that's what I mean. Like, it's how like a teenage boy would ask it and be curious. But I think with there being so much taboo around it, and that's how it's described, is taboo because it's like he only wanted to know how damn heels would feel, right, with it. But he says that it's no big deal and nobody cares. He was just he was just curious, right? Lisa tells him to leave Rose alone. he basically says that they kind of make a joke about it and then move on, right? But he, in the important part here, he resists it. He's not on here. But he resists, and that is very important here, in my opinion, because it's like you have everyone doing it, and this is the first time that someone's been like, no. And people are paying attention, people are talking about it. And if this person was not, I don't want to say like, if their intentions weren't good, but he's also being compelled, so we don't know. Right? But because he was pushing through it, I think that it was, I believe him when it wasn't malicious. I don't know. We're gonna move back to the thing I skipped. When it ends, that scene ends with Lisa smiling at Rose and then starting to talk to Aaron. But we have some more here. Malloy, when Malloy feed on damp heels, it is perceived as dirty. Like fetishize stuff, right? And then you have when Malloy feed on other Malloy, it's as cannibalism, right? Or cannibalistic. Now, this is very important. The party. Not this party, a different party. This is why Rose does not drink. So, basically, when Lisa and Rose were freshmen, they were invited to a senior party with Malloys, right? Now, it was not good. That party, it got bad. It went sideways pretty quickly because Rose was with someone older than her, a senior. She was drunk. She was not very much paying attention. Now, a boy in that, or someone, a Malloy guy, a Malloy senior, brings in a, I believe it's a human that is used to being fed on, and they are not really understanding what's happening to them physically. In it, they're like, "Oh, you brought someone that we can do like drink from," and the girls in that party is like, no, no, like, this is not food. This is a person, right?" And it gets to the point in which Lisa is telling Rose to do something. Problem, Rose is drunk. And I have a little problem with this because it's like Lisa is so dependent on her that she's like, why aren't you doing something? You need to do something. But that's something that I think is impactful and something that I feel like Rose is taking away from her, which is Lisa decides, okay, you can't do anything about it. I will. And she does. She like compels him to like break a whole bunch of stuff. The guy who brought her. Chapter 16. Okay, so Rose is bullied less. Mia found out about the party and broke up with Aaron. Because, well, technically no. Mia found out about the party and said Aaron has to choose between us, and he chose Lisa. Again, he's being compelled though, so Rose talks to the element teacher. Now, this is when we learn more, like, lore, so to speak. And the element teacher says she does not know, she does not know what St. Vladimir specialed in, that there is no element that can heal somebody, and nobody can specialize in more than one element because it would be too much power and it would hurt their mind. Oh, also, she doesn't know what Miss Clark specialized in. Don't know, none. Mental health issues, medical issues, mental health issues. So we are definitely seeing a connection here. Okay, Lisa and Rose have an argument. Rose is saying, stop compelling. Rose is like, I can't. because um, if I stop them, they're just going to go back to the way that they will. And Mia would just start up again, and they would have to do it all over again. Rose is saying that she sounds just like Miss Cripe did. Lisa is like, don't say that. And she's like, okay, but it's true though. And then she points out Lisa and St. Lionel can both heal and both can compel. And they basically, Lisa makes a comment that they both sound like freaks. Basically, there's confirmation that once again she was compelled that night because after the party, a month later, that is when, nope, a month after she compelled Rose, they left the academy, right? So, okay, so we have some like lore, I guess, with Lisa. Basically, she wants to be like her brother, all good and noble. Basically, but the problem is she can't like specialize, right? But she wants to be like her brother and help. Because her brother allegedly helped. But she's like, okay, fine, I'll stop using magic. But she also says she's not hanging out with Natalie. So it just sounds like Lisa just does not like Natalie, and Natalie is just like, why? Why don't you like me? And because she's so curious, it sounds like she's just picking up on it. And I don't know if the reason why she does not like Natalie is just because like she doesn't like this person, or is it because like Natalie called you out? I don't know, but like maybe it's just because she likes Christian romantically. It's like she can overlook it, but like I don't know, right? Um, but she also said she's gonna back off, Aaron. But like the problem is, she's like, okay, but Christian abandoned me, and it's like, well, he only did that because of Rose, and it's kind of like thought that that's a little bit of the reason why she started to be around. Anyway, I started to do stuff with Aaron more is because Christian wasn't there. A rebound. That's sad that he broke up with his girlfriend, and now we're hearing that his girlfriend, like, she likes him. She likes him a lot. All that he is to Lisa is a rebound. Like, it's not specifically stated, but she's just like, yeah, I mean, Christian stopped hanging around me. They, like, abandoned me, basically. And then she started being with Aaron more. Rough, that's rough. So, Rose and Christian, they went into each other, woo, and then she's like, hey, thank you. Um, but she's like, I'm worried about Lisa. And basically, Christian is just like, you need to speak to someone. And that's true. He's like, you need to find someone, a trusted person, and you need to tell them what is happening. Like, you can't hold this in, and she cannot hold this in either. You need to go to someone, right? And it's like, well, why don't you go to someone? But I can see how it's like, this is your like friend, all of that. Maybe he doesn't feel like it's his place. I don't know, but he is forming like she needs help, and unfortunately, it's like I don't think that she's in a place where she can seek help on her own, and she's like, how did you know, basically? And he's like, I did not need to be told what she was doing. I could tell what she was doing. I observed, well, that's kind of my thing. And he's adamant, he's like, this needs to be told to a trusted adult. Um, which we love someone who is very much like, we need to make sure our mental health is good. And when someone is struggling, being like, hey, this person needs help. So it's go to therapy. Everyone should be going to therapy. I hope he is going to therapy because of what happens with his parents. Um, and Rose realizes that both of them, their parents are no longer in the land of the living, and so maybe that's why they can like relate to each other. Again, they should both be in therapy. Here is okay. So she does actually apologize to him in person. He's like, I know you're gonna actually apologize to me, and she's like, no, guys, like that's fail, that's fail. Like because she had her apology through Mason, and Mason did it to him, right? Apologize to him for the whole, and he's like, you're actually gonna apologize to me, um, or we're not cool, and that's fail. So Christian also is like, we probably could have been friends. Like, we probably could have been friends if all this didn't happen. And Lisa, not Lisa, Rose is just like, yeah. Me, I'm saying, yeah, they could have been friends. And you know what? I do think they do become friends, especially after this. They just have to get over their, like, I don't know, whatever feeling that they will both have for each other. Um, so Lisa, not Lisa, Rose is going to be late for training. Christian is also saying that he will, like, start talking to her again, and try to actually help her again. And I say actually meaning like we are going to see that Christian is Christian has been helping her. Period. I truly do believe that he has been helping her. The problem is we're seeing the help through Rose's eyes, and Rose is not like him. So anything that he is doing to help Lisa, she is not seeing it as help. But she's like, he needs to leave her alone. I need to get him to leave her alone. So it's like the help that he is doing, she's not seeing it. So now we're seeing, she's like, oh, he's actually helping her, right? And she actually relies on him more to try to help her more. But again, they need mental health professionals to help us. They need a trusted adult to help her. This is not something that either of them can do on their own. But at this point, they're both like, okay, what are we going to do? Type of a thing, right? So we're going to get some lore on Christian. So he talks about, okay, and that's how the chapter is going to end, right? But I'm going to jump back to the lore on Christian that he's going to say. But keep in mind, at this point, she's like, we're training, he's going to talk to her potentially, right? So his parents were murdered in front of him. But he also did see his aunt get assaulted, physically assaulted. And the reason why his aunt did that is because she was trying to protect him, right? But then they came in. The guardians came in and then they killed the parents. But the thing is, he says that he didn't notice a difference as a child. I mean, he still is. But he didn't notice a difference that his parents were Malloy. And we're going to see that later on, that Malloy, especially in the beginning, like, you will visually usually see a difference. But it's not until later on that you actually, like, once you actually hear them talking, you pay attention to them, you can only find it for so long. And the unfortunate thing is, there was no way, like let's say that the Damphios didn't come and rescue him. I cannot see a way in which they waited for him to turn a certain age. I do think they probably could have held out maybe for a couple of years, but I cannot see him getting much older than what he was. Just from getting reintroduced back into Malloy's. Not more into Shaboy's. Like I don't think that could have happened. But I also think it's really sad that it's just like he didn't see a difference in his parents. And I wonder if that is commentary and he didn't see a difference because maybe it's like they were nice to him, or maybe the level of acknowledgement and treatment that he got from his parents didn't change. And it's like even this monster, like maybe they were always monsters because again they willingly changed. So I don't know. That's just really sad to me. We're gonna move on to chapter 17. It opens up. Lisa has a dead dove in her. I shouldn't have put it on yet. Has a dead dove in her bag, and it's like what? She wants to yell it, Rose stops on. She's like, oh, fine. You know what? That's cool. We're gonna go to the mall. Basically, there's gonna be a dance soon, and she has permission. They keep on giving her permission to go to these dances, to go to the mall with her friend under training purposes, and it's just like, my God, she's like not grounded. Like she is grounded day to day, but for big events, she's really not. Okay, so they're gonna go to a mall. Let's go in Montana. It's a 2-hour trip. Now, here's the thing, Lisa's bank account, she's able to access it again, right? The trip is 2 hours long, and we have Lisa, we have Rose, we have Victor, we have Dimitri, we have Natalie, a friend named Camille's, and 3 guardians. One of them is Stan from the academy, and 2 others are personal from Victor named Ben and Stolidon. So Lisa has both Rose and Dimitri with her. Victor has 2 because royals will have 2 guardians. And the Malloy, the guardian from the academy is for both Natalie and this other girl, because Victor reminds us that she is special for having a damn heel guarding her, not just 2. But it's a special case because she is a princess. The headmistress was convinced to let Rose go to the dance because of Victor. The car is tented so they can go out during the day. Natalie is so sad. She's trying to get her dad's attention, but he's only really paying attention to Lisa. Basically, Dimitri says this is your training day, and that's how you're allowed to come with you. But for your training, you are going to be my partner. Like it's basically field activity, right? Okay. So one of the guardians, though, it doesn't say which one. At least I didn't write down which one. Asks if Rose has a silver stake. She's like, no, I don't, because he hasn't given me one. He's like, you shouldn't have one at this point. If Malloy and Dampeel can choose to become one, or they'll not. Like it can be both. What if it is your friend? Because I don't think that you would do that to your friend potentially or someone you know. I'm not gonna like. I don't think you're ready. And she's like, well, if you train me, I would be. And yes, Rose. Yes, this entire book, he has been holding her education hostage. Literally, if you don't do the things I want you to do, you are not going to become ready enough to face the world as a guardian. And I will say it, I believe self-defense that he is teaching her because of the earlier chapters in which stuff happened to her, which she was blamed for by him, and that's going to come up later. Because of that, she's like self-defense. Basically, that's what he's going to be teaching her on top of that. She should know that. Not just because self-defense is used in those cases that happen to her, but also because she is going to be attacked. She will be. That is a fact. If she is a guardian, that will happen, which means close quarters, she should know how to do it. Period. If she is with someone, which we're going to see a way that she would probably be Lisa's guardian or someone else's guardian, that means someone is probably going to attack them, or attack the Malloy is going to come in close corridors with her. She should know how to do these things, period. It should be a part of her education. But he is holding a hostage, so we love to see her being like, you should teach me that, though. Anyways, she's like, maybe I can't. Kill someone that I know. Now, here we are. It's going to be brought up 2 characters named Sonia and Mikhail. Now, Mikhail is a guardian, and then Sonia is a willingly turned Malloy. Now, Mikhail is hunting, basically, Sonia down to give her a mercy kill, right? And this is kind of seen as the responsible thing to do, but also the honorable thing to do, because at that point, it is believed once they are Shigoi, they are no longer who they once were, and it should be taken care of, basically. And since it was her guardian, it's like, yeah. But here's the other thing. They were allegedly involved romantically. They were together. So he has an extra motivation to go and mercy on his partner. Now, Rose Simon as if she knows who this person is. And you do. You know who this person is. Lisa, she's like, who is this person? And Victor's like, oh, you should know her. She was your teacher. Brutal. So, sometime after she was taken away to seek treatment, she killed the doctor that was treating her, half of the patients that was also there, and a significant amount of nurses that was also around at the time. After that, her guardian and romantic interest started to hunt her down and mostly kill her. She willingly told. Yeah. So Lisa is just like, how long did you know that? She lies. She says a few weeks. She knew 2 years ago. So remember that party I was telling you about? So she, Rose is basically under house arrest. She's about to be suspended, all that kind of stuff, right? And she overhears guardians speak about it. Now, keep in mind, at this point, it's not necessarily gossip. These are her colleagues. These are potentially her friends that had to potentially be like, you need help. Or friends of the person that she was with, right? So it's like they were talking about it. She overheard, and they're like, this is not gossip. Like, this is not high school drama. Don't say anything. And she, like the first or one of the first times that a guardian is trusting her with other guardian information. She keeps it to herself. And then lies when Lisa finds out about it for how long she knew. And you know what? I don't see anything wrong with her keeping that from Lisa. Maybe saying like, oh yeah, I knew for a long time, I just didn't say anything because it wasn't drama. Like, this was a person that we knew, and they were dealing with something, and I didn't want it getting around, so I didn't say anything when I was asked not to say anything. And like, I do think Lisa would have been like, after being like, you knew for that long and you didn't tell me, I think that it would have been like I like this teacher too. I knew this person. This is not drama. This is not gossip. This is something what happened, and it's heartbreaking that that's what happened. So I don't think she would have been actually that bad. Okay, so at this point they go into the mall. And Lisa, she's just buying stuff for Rose that she kind of points out because Rose can't shop, right? She can't try anything on. She can't do anything like that right now. She is on the job. Now, Rose is next to Lisa because how they decided to split things up is Lisa is going to be with her. Rose is going to be with Lisa if anything actually happens, right? She's going to be close quarters with her, basically, right? Because she is close to an age, and it would make sense because they're also friends and, they're connected, all that kind of stuff emotionally. And then Dimitri's gonna follow behind them, right? Because basically, remember, these people are basically in a group. I will mention that Natalie and this other person is not mentioned again on this trip, from what I can recall. So they kind of just like go off on their own. So basically, Lisa sees this necklace for Rose, and she really wants to get it. And it's this diamond rose necklace, but then Rose and they like it. And then Lisa sees the price and she's like, I'm sorry. And like it's mentioned, and she's like, even Lisa has to be on a budget, you know. And so we see that she is responsible. They didn't give her access to a bank account for nothing. She is looking at prices. Back at the car, Dimitri says, "Hey, so well technically you're off the clock, but then later on I want to say that she's on the clock. So you can go on. You can try dresses." She goes on. She tries dresses. Okay, cool, fun, amazing. They come back. Or exiting, right? And I don't like this. I don't like this. She asks if the dress will ruin her reputation. Because he said that he saw it. Now, if you're like, I don't remember what this was. Remember when he said that he was only going to give her self-defense? He didn't say self-defense. That's what's implied. He's only going to give her the extra training is if she proves herself and fixes her reputation. So she's worried that wearing a dress to a high school party, a high school event, is going to make it so this person no longer teaches her self-defense after knowing the only reason why she's asking for this extra self-defense. It's not because she thinks she needs it to for Lisa, but because she was assaulted. And she doesn't see that she should know this because of her training, and thinks that this is something that he can hold over her head because right after he victim blamed her, and she has already internalized misogyny in everything, but she's a child listening to an adult. Okay, you want to get even more mad? You ready? So she falls asleep with her head on his shoulder. I'm not saying that. Whatever. It's weird. Later on, we want to know I don't like this comment. Period. And then with context later on, we're calling back this is going to make. Okay. He makes a comment when she's almost asleep, and he whispers this so no one else can hear it, that if she wears that dress to the party, it would endanger the school. Not an appropriate comment to make. Chapter 18, she wakes up because Dimitri's like, hey, you should wake up or heal. And basically what happens is alright, so these two that messing around, she's jumping on benches. She's jumping on benches and she's like hee hee ha ha, and they're talking woo woo woo. Third bench hits her head. The wood was rotten. They somehow didn't know, and I mean they probably have so many benches, but still, lawsuit anyone? Anyways, she gets rushed to the nurse. She is out for hours, by the way, and Dimitri's with her when she wakes up, and he's like, yeah, I carried you to the nurse. It should have been Lisa. No, not really, because I don't think she could have carried her, but I'm like, oh my gosh, imagine, we we decide that instead of having this inappropriate age relationship between a minor and an adult, and have this epic rushing her, that's gonna happen again, but rushing her to the nurse, to the clinic. It's like the best friend is just like, no, picks her up. I'm rushing you with the strength I didn't know I think that would have been fun. I'm just saying. Now, we also get two gifts. So, Victor saw the necklace. This is kind of, we're gonna get into it later. So Victor saw the necklace that they were looking at and was like, hey, because you did such a good job. And he'll like I think the implication is like he saw that it was like expensive and how much like oh they had to put it back. And he's just like, I'm the prince. I am the prince. I can afford it. It's fine. And for like we're supposed to really like him, right? He's supposed to be, I think, this like fully grandfather behavioral, and like I don't think anything of it because he's like, because you did a good job. The second gift is from Dimitri, and he gives a lip gloss. Why are you trying to make a child look more adult? Especially after you said that she shouldn't be doing this kind of behavior. One might say like wearing makeup after you slut shamed her and victim blamed her. I have a problem with that, obviously. And he's like, because I thought you would like it. Okay, so but then we also the doctor comes in after he is touching her cheek and her hair. So probably something like this. Probably something like this, right? Doctor comes in and he was like, dang, you got lucky. So no training tomorrow, but you don't only have to stay a minute, right? Like you don't have to stay the night. You're good. Surprisingly, you're good. Like I would have expected something more. But you're really lucky. Bye. And then they're talking about it, Dimitri and Lisa, and it kind of gets mentioned. It's just like, oh yeah, that was a miracle. That was a miracle that you are so uninjured. Kind of seem like you're a wolf. And then we find out Lisa was with her for a long period of time, and before Rose woke up, she left. Goes into her mind is not good. When I say when Lisa and Saint Vladimir, when they use their magic, their mental health rapidly declines. Her mental health is rapidly declining. Rose is just like, no, not again. And goes, Dimitri, she is not okay. And explains the reasons why she's not okay and goes, I think something was done. Like I don't know what happened necessarily. It's bad. And explains, right? Dimitri, I'm gonna give him credit for this. So Rose goes in Lisa's head, knows something is very bad. Lisa goes to Dimitri, a trusted adult, and goes, something is really bad with my friend here. He then goes to Alborda and goes, hey, this is really bad. We don't hear what he has to say with it. He goes to her, they immediately go and they get Lisa. It is bad. Lisa then goes to the clinic. She, at this point, and for what I can recall from the rest of it, gets the mental health treatment that she needs. And I think that is why it's really important, which is why I stuck through this book, even though those dark topics, is because she got the mental health that she needs. Even though she gets mad. Yeah, she gets mad at Rose because she reports it. She does, but you know what? Lisa got the help that she needs, and like everyone deserves this kind of help as well. So she got it. So if we're looking at it, we got Christian told Lisa she needs help, right? And then she went to Dimitri, a trusted adult, because they just tell a trusted adult. She went to him. He went to Alborda. It is, I think, implied that Alborda then went to the High Mistress, and from that point on, she gets help, and she's going to get more help, but she gets the mental health help that she needs. Just like Sonia got the mental health, some mental health that she needed, because obviously she did still tone. At this point, I will mention that we are in a different chapter. But, okay, so, Lisa, she's upset, but she's not mean. She's not mean to her, because I think there was a part of her that knows she needed the help, right? So everyone on campus that she's compelling ignores her, does not bully her, so she does not get bullied again, but she's basically getting ignored. And then Mia corners Rose, and she's like, hey, if you tell me why she was in the clinic for so long, I will tell people that it was a lie. So people noticed that she was in clinic. They thought it was because she got an abortion. She is okay with that rumor. So Rose is like, okay, you're okay with that rumor? We're going with that. We're not going to say it's wrong, but we're not going to say it's correct, because she does not want people to know what happened, right? And that's why she's upset with Rose, because she feels like it was forced out of her control who knew. And so she's like, I would rather them think I got an abortion than have the whole school know what happened. So she's just like, hey, if you continue like this, and if you mess with Lisa, if you mess with Lisa, I'm going to hit you. Specifically punch you. She's like, you're crazy, basically, right? And that's like at the end until dance night. So much is going to happen in this night. Here we go. Okay, dance night. Eddie goes, hey, you're going to dance with me. Not like romantically. He's like, you should come, because Eddie, who's not on people at all, their friend is going to be throwing a little party, after party, and it's going to be novices only, so you do not have to worry about any more spreading any gossip. Right? And she's like, okay, cool, I'll go so I can go to the after party. It's cool, it's okay. Also, the reason why he wanted to go and not why he wanted her to go and not just to the after party is because he got both Ralph and Jesse to apologize to her once we walk the dance and say, come Monday, we will retract what we said. The only reason why we agreed to start this rumor that we know is obvious lie, because that didn't happen, is because both Ralph and Jesse were told that if they did it, Mia will sleep with them. Now it is clarified that they didn't do it at the same time, but it is specified that she did it while she was still with Aaron, which means the person that she was doing this all for, because she felt insecure for, she cheated on with these people. Now, she is feeling, we're on chapter 20, okay? Lisa is feeling upset. Rose can somehow sense it. She's just like, what's happening? It's Mia, of course. Mia comes up and says two things basically to her. One, slut shames her friend, Rose. Now, here's the thing, they're not talking, they're friends. And that's important to say. They are not talking to each other. Rose is giving her space. Lisa is like, that's still my friend. You're no. So she's getting upset. And then we find out that somehow Mia got a hold of Lisa's files and says why she was in the clinic. This upsets Rose. She's like, hey, remember what I said? If you didn't back off, punch your soul. Now, quick action, quick time events. Here we go. She is getting taken away by the Guardian. She's getting grounded, right? She already is grounded. She's signals to Christian, but Lisa is going to need help, right? She's like, hey, can you go to your friend? Like, can you go to Lisa? He is like, okay, cool, I'm going to do that. He gets to her, and I will say, Rose then gets to her room. They drop her off, though. She goes into Lisa's mind. Christian is able to comfort and talk her away from bad stuff. And calms her down. We're like, cool, okay, right, everything's fine. He gets hit in the head. Or not in the head, he gets hit. They're both surrounded. He's like, what is happening now? He is like, I'm gonna use my fire magic, because remember, he thinks that if you are being attacked, you should use your magic. He tries to attack. Before that happens, the guardians that are there knock him out and say, come with us, Lisa. Rose is just like, I need to go to Dimitri, and like, it's bad, right? She goes there, and he's like, hey, what's happening? She's like, Lisa's in trouble. He lets her in. Door shuts. Magic starts. She cannot think of anything besides him 18 plus lots, right? She kisses him. He's like, we should not. They cannot think of what happened before she came into the room. They make out. He says, hey, I am, what is it specifically? Like, he pities those who are Shigoi, so he doesn't feel bad about killing them, but he feels bad that they are Shigoi. And then he rips off the necklace that she was wearing that came from Victor. And it's like, what is happening? As soon as it is awful, Rose comes back to, and they both realize that that necklace was a compulsion, and once that door shut, it activated. So what they did was under compulsion, and neither of them are relieved at all, because they both didn't consent to it. Like, they might have had feelings, but they would not have acted on it, only because of the magical compulsion that he gave her in that necklace. But did he put that compulsion there? Why is compulsion just showing up everywhere? I don't know. The other guardians do not believe her when she's like, hey, she's been kidnapped. Because they're like, hey, no Strigoi could have gotten on campus. And Christian and Rose is like, oh no, it was guardians, but they weren't from here. And they're like, and Rose's like, I feel we're getting farther away, guys. And they're like, okay, cool. Let's go for it. They believe her. After the headmistress says that she believes her because Dimitri says that she was compelled by a necklace that he gave her to fight him. And then once he restrained her, and a lot of time had passed. So she's like, he's lying. And she's going to agree with this lie, because she's like, well, they were both being compelled, so she doesn't want to see him vile, but she's like, he was compelled to do it. It wasn't consensual, right? So here is what happens. More quick time events. Rose goes into Lisa's mind, and she sees Victor's guardian that we saw at the mall. Yep. That's why we had to see them, is because so that we both saw who was there, right? They were in a car. They were rushing. They were in the highway. Boom! And then Lisa goes to a cabin. They stop there, and then Victor, he comes out and he's like, hey, you should come to the cabin. And she's like, is Christian alive? He's like, well, I'm not gonna kill you. He gets her into the cabin, and then he says that he has planted enough seeds or enough ideas in people that they're gonna think that Lisa ran away. And here we're gonna have a lot of backstory, because now they're inside, and he says the reason why he's doing all this is because he's sick, he's gonna die. He's like, I need someone to heal me, and she's like, I can't heal anyone. He's like, yes you can. He's like, no I can't. Yes you can. No I can't. You healed Rose, and she's like, oh, what? And she's like, you also, Natalie saw you when you healed the animal. Natalie saw you. So basically here's what we're getting, right? Actually, no. Sorry. Natalie saw what Lisa when Lisa healed Rose. Right? They have been holding animals to get hold to heal them to prove that she did it all those years ago. And then he's like, okay, we gotta hold whole. What do you mean we gotta hold whole? Oh, it's almost as if maybe that bench should not have been rotted. And he's like, oh yeah, my daughter Natalie has been helping me with this. She is this whole specialty. She rotted the thing. Um, and he's like, the only cure is magic, right? But here's the problem. He's like, hey, there's a price when it comes to spirit magic. That's what it's called, by the way. When you hear what spirit magic, it's gonna haunt you because like there's a price to pay with it, and that's gonna be your mental health, right? Um, he also acknowledges that she probably would have helped him, but no one would have let her do it, especially since it was going to cause her mental agony. Um, okay, so here is what we also learned. He's like, oh yeah, it's spirit. It's it's spirit. Remember all those times when they said shadow kiss? Well, not there yet, but remember all the times that he said that Saint Vladimir was full of spirit. That's because they were talking about the magic, spirit magic. Saint Vladimir can do it, and Lisa could do it. What? Um, could she? Question mark. Um, so he is just like, okay, no, it is confirmation. There's confirmation. That Sonia is a spirit user. I don't have one for Saint Vladimir, and he's like, you, Lisa, you are. But here's the thing: people don't see it as a fifth element anymore because it's so rare. And people have forgotten about it. And there's also a price to pay with it, unfortunately. And he's like, hey, why did I kidnap you? Is because I need you to heal me over and over and over again. And no adult, well, it's a no like person, like no counsel, and like no one at the school would like, no adult in their right mind would let a child do this, even though she probably would have done it. Now we're gonna talk about this little bond with a shadow kiss. I don't know. We'll find out. He's like, hey, the bond between you and Rose, it's because when you healed her all those years ago, remember that miracle? Remember the miracle? She should not have survived that train, not train, that car ride. She healed her all those years ago. Not only that, but remember how she healed Rose, and then that's when this huge mental health crisis for Lisa started. And then that's when the bond between them was forged. He lied and said, well, all the best ones have it. Because of her fear that night that Rose was going to die, she formed what is called a shadow kiss connection between the two that allows the other person, so it doesn't have to be Daniel, who she is, to have a bond between them, making Rose shadow kissed and saved by spirit magic. So shadow kiss and shadow kiss, that means Saint Vladimir had to have healed her at some point. That's just what it has to mean, right? Anyways, he's like, yeah. If the school found out, they're gonna put you on blockers. They're gonna put you on blockers. And you will feel your magic, but you cannot use it. And that's why you should be with me and my cabin and heal me forever, because I would make a good king. Okay, you're gonna torture a child. Because she says no, and then he tortures her, or someone tortures her with ale. Yeah, so I don't know if we want you as king, but the reason why he's like, I should need to be king is I need to make sure that other people, other boys, can use their magic to attack Strigoi. Now, here's the thing, unlike Christian, Christian wants them to fight side by side. Victor is just like, we have grown too dependent on them. We can do it ourselves. Right. So here was the thing, Lisa. Like, this is what I want to discuss a little bit, which is Lisa is not just like this damsel in distress or in duress, right? Because Lisa compels a guard to open a window after Victor leaves, and he does. She escapes, right? But as that is happening, they pull up uh, Rose and Dimitri and Alberta. They all pull up. Was it Alberta? Yeah, Alberta. They all pull up and they're like, "Time to rescue." They go in. They're like, "Rose, you gotta stay behind," and she's like, "Fine, fine." They all leave. Who comes out of the trunk? Oh, Christian is there. He's like, "Hey, are we actually staying here, or are you gonna come with me to go save Lisa?" Remember, Lisa, she's already escaped. She goes in her mind. She's running through the forest. Oh no, you know why? She's being hunted by psychic or rebel hounds. Remember all those chapters ago when we talked about Chicago, that they were being hunted by those hounds. And Dimitri said, "Hey, to my knowledge, the academy that it wasn't them in Chicago. That I said there was a credible threat." Victor found them in Chicago and sent hounds after them. Now these hounds are running after Lisa in the woods. Rose catches up to her and like she's trying to protect her, and like the hounds are trying to they're trying to get at her, and they're like, "Oh no!" And then Christian's like, "Oh, I'm here," and she's like, "What are you doing? Leave!" And Christian's he picks up a stick, right, and he sets it on fire, and like the hounds they're a little bit afraid, but they don't retreat. They're like, "We are gonna do it, but we'll fight," right? Um, he gets hit. Like, unfortunately, this guy has probably got hit 3 times in the head, potentially. He needs medical attention. And then, basically, they're like, "Oh no!" She gets the attacking hound that's on her, takes care of it. And it's like, oh, so many. Who comes in to save the day? Is it a man? No, fortunately, it is Alberta. She comes in, she shoots them. Bring a knife to a gunfight, so to speak. Uh, so Victor, he is detained. Wow. Here's the thing. He's really injured. Remember how I said that he got hit 3 times already? Yeah, she's really weak though. So Rose's like, "You can feed for me. Heal him." That's what they do. Whew, what an interesting like prom. I don't know. Okay, so well, moving on. I don't know if this is where it happens. Okay, so eventful night, right? They go back. It's all cool. Whatever. Um, Dimitri says that he wants to tell the school what the actual compulsion is, because he's like, "It's bad. I did a bad thing. I should be punished for it." She's like, "You would be filed. It was compulsion. Let's leave it at that." Because he's like, "I don't have feelings for you." She goes to Victor. Somehow she talks the guards into letting her see him. They take pay on her. They let him in. Right? He is locked up at the school. Why would you lock him up at the school anyways? They don't know what to do with his daughter, because he's like, she's under 18. It was her dad. Like, what do we do with her? Right? So here is the thing. We get a few things that happened. Right? He says, "Hey, that's not how the compulsion magic works." Because she's like, "You did this to him. He doesn't have feelings for me." And he's like, "Oh, that's how it works." The compulsion magic for lust would only have worked if both people had feelings. And he's like, "Hey, it is acceptable that you, a child, a schoolgirl, had a crush on someone who is an adult. That's acceptable. What's not acceptable is for him to reciprocate the feelings. And you know what? How am I supposed to agree with him? Gosh, so one thing right now I am agreeing with, and here's the thing, like, no one else is really seeing a problem with it. And at least at this moment, it's just like, and later on, it's gonna be like, really, only he's gonna have a problem with it. He's gonna be like, this is unacceptable. Gosh, and he's a villain too. And he's just like, we don't like Shigoi in this household. We don't. But I guess I'm gonna have to take an unconventional way of, going about things. And then Natalie comes in. And it's just like, why is Natalie here one? But like, okay, that's her dad. What looks wrong with Natalie? Natalie has torn Shigoi. Welcome to the final chapter of this book. Okay, so Natalie, she's blocking the only exit. Victor, he manages to escape, but tells Natalie before he does, don't kill her. You can beat her, but you can't kill her. And that's what she does. And then that's when Rose is just like, I was never ready to face a Shigoi. Never ready. Because again, she's new. She is new, and she is getting demolished. Let's say that. Now, she is talking through it, and she's trying to reason with her, because she's like, I can't fight her. And she's like, why are you doing this? And she's like, well, because he needs to become king, so that way we can destroy the Shigoi. And she's like, really, Pop? You are Shigoi. You will have to. This is where we learn more. You will have to. You must eventually go after Malloy. Every Shigoi does it. It's like, basically it's implied that it's like a compulsion. So that's why I'm like, they would have eventually, either killed him or told him. I don't know if they would have waited very long, but like, she's like, small price to pay. It's like, you literally are the thing that you, just so your dad can get away. And, oh no, I forgot something. It's fine. And like, here's the thing. She's getting demolished. And like, she's not actively trying to kill, but she is like getting close to there. But that's okay, because Dimitri comes and kills her. Now here's the thing, I forgot a second one of these. Dimitri comes, also, and then immediately picks her up, and then runs to the clinic. Now during the clinic, she's like, hey, you lied. Because he said that you had to have feelings for me for it to work. And he's like, okay, fine. I do, but it can never work. Okay, it can never work, whatever. Basically, he first says, I am 7 years older than you. How about you are an adult and she's a child? I do not care if it's two consenting adults, 7 years, 12 years, whatever. If you're consenting adult and children cannot consent, it's like, it's 7 years. And she's like, I don't care. And then he's like, but most importantly, you're going to be Lisa's guardian and I'm Lisa's guardian. So we can't be together because I will want to protect you and not her. And she's like, oh, you're right. And that one gets through to her. And it's like, most importantly, it's because you're going to be colleagues, not because she's a child. And then once you have the fact that he's admitting to feelings, it's like, so when you bought the lip gloss, when you said that the school would be in danger, these comments, lingering touches, stabby stabby. Okay. So here's what happens later on. So Victor is recaptured. That whole thing that his daughter had to die in his mind, it didn't have to. He was recaptured again. Lisa dumps Aaron gets with Christian. This shocks villain, and like Rose at the end is just like these two powerful Dragomir and Rosario families are now outcasts and they're together, but at least they're happy. And here's the good thing, okay? She is on medications for her mental health, and she's also on blockers. Now, Lisa says, I can still feel them. I miss it. I still feel it. They have a new friend group now, and like mentally everything is cool with Lisa. We also have a little bit of a revelation. Even if she's on blockers, she feels it. I know I already put it down, but she told Shigor because the blockers weren't helping. So the only way that she thought she could get the mental health that she needed was to make it so she cannot feel her magic. And the only way for a boy not to feel it and be alive, technically, is to be a Shigor. Unfortunate. The three spirit users. Now, Rose is going to go to the priest and be like, hey, so how did, like, St. Vladimir, like, die? And he's like, oh, yeah, no one ever asked about that, basically. Yeah, he died of old age. Yeah, he lived a very long time. And, like, he had his friend Lisa, he had his friend Anna, and, yeah, they both were, like, happy in the end. Well, not happy, but, like, they died of old age. And so this is kind of like, oh my gosh, because, you know, she wants these two to be, like, this is this, and we don't want this, because this is, like, she told Shigor. Right? He died of old age, so St. Vladimir, the priest says the reason why he died of old age is probably because he had his friend, Shadow Kiss Anne, and if not for her, I don't know. He got her through the hard times. So it's like, okay, so as long as I'm here for Lisa, that will happen as well. And so she has like hope, everything's fun and amazing, and how I'm going to end this little deep dive of book one is she sees the crow all those years ago, and she realizes that crow shadow kissed. And so they're like shadow kiss mates and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of cute. That is Vampire Academy book one. That is the end of it. Okay. That was literally so much, but we finished book one of Vampire Academy by Michelle Mead. This artwork is from the graphic novel. And inspiration credits once again, Jenny Nicholson, Mike's Mike, Carrie Can Read, and Shitty Book Club. That's the inspiration for my deep dives. I am not going to continue with Frostbite anytime recently because I am a mood reader. Here are the two options that I should include a link to the poll or make a separate poll, or you can go to the old one, it's fine. These are the two potentials. Either we want to do Twilight, and I only have Midnight Sun, so I'll have to figure out how to get access to it. With this one, it's going to be, are they vampires or are they fairies? We're going to look at the lore, we're going to read the text, and we're going to figure out which one has more evidence, vampires or fairies. The other one, speaking of fairies, is we're going to critically analyze Akatar, the series. I think doing it potentially other series is good because a lot of people, when they're adults, this is the series that they read first. And I think having something out here was like, it's not just like a recap, but we're going to critically analyze it. We're going to closely look at it. Not saying people don't do that already. It's just, I think that having access, or at least um, having something that you can go to and like we're gonna critically look at it. And we're not just gonna be like, hee hee ha ha, I like this character because I like this character. It's like, what is the site, or what is the source to say of it? I'm leaning more towards Avatar because it is like, this book is like much shorter than, let's say, Midnight Sun, and they're around the same page, not page, around the same series. And again, I have access. This is not my copy. This is a borrowed copy, but I have access to all of the books. I've read all but Nesta's book. I read all but Short Life of Britannia, and then the official like interview type thing. So this one to me is just a lot more. Um, and so I'm leaning more towards Avatar than doing this one. I'm gonna be honest, but you can vote in a little poll. Now that poll is not saying who's the winner. It's gonna be like, which one would you like to see more? With that, poof, that is it. I hope that you have had an amazing day or night whenever you're watching this, and I also hope that this was a good series for you, as well. I am not going to do another deep dive until I finish my secret project. The goal is to finish it before the end of the year or by the new year. I am 64% through the full draft. Once full draft is done, I am doing another one. I'm doing no, secret project. I am doing another deep dive. But I cannot or do not want to start another deep dive and doing the research and reading it, all that kind of stuff until I finish my secret project draft one. Okay, so with that, again, hope you have a wonderful day or night whenever you're watching this, and goodbye!